Imagine you just shared some genuinely good news, a promotion, a personal milestone, something you worked hard for. And the person across from you says all the right words. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. But something feels off. The smile doesn't quite reach their eyes. The congratulations lands a little flat. And you walk away wondering if you imagined it. You probably didn't. Because jealousy, real, hidden jealousy, rarely announces itself. It doesn't walk up to you and say, "I envy you." It hides in micro-behaviors. In tone shifts. In patterns most people catch only subconsciously, if at all. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll never misread those signals again. Before we dive into the 7 signs, let's establish something important. Jealousy and envy are not the same thing, and understanding the difference changes how you read people. Envy, noun, is wanting what someone else has. It's the 2-syllable ache, env. She looked at his new car with envy. Jealousy, noun, jealousy, is the fear of losing something you already have. A jealous partner fears losing attention. A jealous colleague fears losing status. Psychologists make this distinction carefully. Envy is a 2-person situation, you want what I have. Jealousy is a 3-person situation, you, me, and the thing you're afraid I'll take from you. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Most people who resent your success aren't jealous in the clinical sense. They're envious, and they hide it behind behaviors most of us misinterpret as something else entirely. Research published in the journal Emotion found that people consistently underestimate how much others envy them. Why? Because envy expresses itself indirectly. It comes out sideways. And unless you know what to look for, you'll miss it completely. So let's go through the 7 signs, one by one, with the psychology behind each. Sign number 1, they diminish your wins. This is the most common, and the easiest to dismiss. You share something you're proud of, and their response shrinks it. Wow, you got promoted. I mean, they've been promoting everyone lately. Oh, you ran a marathon. My cousin did an ultramarathon last year. That's the real challenge. This is what psychologists call minimization, a defense mechanism where someone reduces the significance of your achievement to protect their own self-image. The key word here is diminish, verb, diminish. To make something seem less important or smaller than it really is. What makes this sign so reliable is the pattern. A genuine friend can accidentally say something dismissive once. But an envious person does it consistently, across multiple wins, across time, across different areas of your life. Pay attention to the ratio. Do they ever celebrate you without a qualifier? Or does every piece of good news come with a "but" or a "however"? Sign number 2, the backhanded compliment. This one is particularly tricky because it arrives gift-wrapped in praise. A backhanded compliment, noun phrase, is a statement that sounds like a compliment on the surface but carries an insult underneath. You're so confident to wear something like that. It must be nice to have so much free time to work out. I wish I could just not care what people think, like you do. These sentences all follow the same structure, apparent praise that, on reflection, implies something negative. You're confident equals you dress strangely. You have free time equals you're not working hard. You don't care equals you're oblivious. Evolutionary psychologists suggest that backhanded compliments evolved as a form of covert aggression, a way to compete socially without triggering direct conflict. The speaker gets to express hostility while maintaining plausible deniability. What? I was complimenting you. The vocabulary word here is passive-aggressive, adjective, pass-for-aggress-for. Behavior that expresses negative feelings indirectly rather than openly. The backhanded compliment is passive aggression in its purest form. Sign number 3, they go silent when you succeed. This sign is not about what someone says, it's about what they don't say. You post about an achievement online. Dozens of people react. But one person, someone you'd expect to show up, says nothing. No like, no comment, no message. Complete silence. And it's not a one-time thing. It's every single time something good happens to you. Psychologists call this withholding, noun, deliberately refusing to give something expected, in this case, acknowledgement or praise. It functions as a quiet form of punishment. The message is, I'm not going to reward your success with my attention. What makes this sign psychologically significant is that it costs the person nothing to say, congratulations, and yet they choose not to. The absence becomes louder than words. The English phrase for this is, deafening silence, noun phrase, a silence so noticeable and uncomfortable that it feels loud. When I announced my book deal, the deafening silence from certain friends told me everything I needed to know. Sign number 4, they imitate you, then compete with you. This sign follows a specific progression. First, the person starts adopting your interests, your phrases, your style. At first it seems flattering. Imitation is supposed to be the sincerest form of flattery, right? But then the dynamic shifts. They don't just adopt what you do, they try to do it better. They join the same gym but talk constantly about their faster progress. They pick up the same hobby and immediately position themselves as the expert. What's happening here, psychologically, is something called social comparison, noun phrase, the process of evaluating oneself by comparing to others. The envious person has identified you as their reference point, their benchmark. They don't just want what you have. They want to beat you at having it. The vocabulary distinction here is between imitation, noun, imitation, which is neutral copying, and emulation, noun, emulation, which is copying with the intent to equal or surpass. An envious person doesn't just imitate. They emulate competitively. Sign number 5, they show subtle pleasure when things go wrong for you. This is the hardest sign to spot because it happens in micro moments. A split-second smile when you mention a setback. A flicker of brightness in their eyes when you share bad news. It's gone almost instantly, but it was there. There's a German word for this experience, Schadenfreude, noun, Schadenfreude. It means pleasure derived from another person's misfortune. And English borrowed it because no single English word captures the concept quite as precisely. Social psychologists have found that Schadenfreude is strongest when the misfortune happens to someone we envy. In other words, the more someone secretly resents your success, the more satisfying your setbacks become to them. The micro-expression, that flash of a smile, is involuntary. It happens in less than half a second, faster than conscious control. And once you learn to notice it, it tells you more than 1,000 words ever could. Sign number 6, they quietly undermine your confidence. This is more active than the other signs. The envious person doesn't just react to your success, they try to prevent more of it by planting seeds of doubt. It's a big risk. Are you sure you're ready? I heard that industry is really unstable right now. You know, most people who try that fail. Notice the pattern. These statements aren't openly hostile. They're framed as concern, as friendly advice. But their cumulative effect is to make you second-guess yourself. Psychologists identify this as undermining, verb, undermine ing, the act of weakening someone gradually, often in ways that are hard to detect. It's related to a broader concept called social undermining, where negative behaviors erode someone's ability to maintain positive relationships or achieve goals. The phrase you'll hear native speakers use, planting seeds of doubt, idiom, to say something that creates uncertainty in someone's mind. Every time I share a goal with her, she plants seeds of doubt. I've learned to stop sharing. Sign number 7, they're never there when you actually need them. This is the sign that confirms all the others. The envious person will be present, sometimes overly present, when things are going well for them. But the moment you're in genuine need of support, they vanish. You're going through a difficult time and they're suddenly so busy. You reach out and get one-word responses, or no response at all. The pattern is unmistakable. They want access to your highs but want nothing to do with your lows. Psychologically, this represents something called fair-weather friendship, noun phrase, a relationship that only functions when conditions are favorable for one party. The term comes from sailing. A fair-weather sailor only goes out when the water is calm. The envious person's support was never real support. It was proximity. They stayed close to monitor you, to compare, to compete. When you have nothing to offer, no success to envy, the motivation to stay connected disappears. And here's the vocabulary phrase to remember: fair-weather friend, noun phrase, someone who is only your friend when things are going well. I realized she was a fair-weather friend when I got sick and she never once checked on me. So here's the practical part. Now that you can recognize these 7 signs, what do you do with this knowledge? Let me give you 3 principles grounded in psychology, not revenge. First, don't confront directly. Calling out hidden envy almost never works. The person has spent enormous psychological energy keeping their feelings hidden. Being exposed will trigger defensiveness, not honesty. They'll deny everything, and resent you more for seeing through them. Second, adjust your sharing. This doesn't mean hiding your light. It means being selective about who gets access to your journey. Share your wins with people who have proven they can celebrate you. Share your struggles with people who have proven they'll show up. Not everyone deserves a front-row seat to your life. The English phrase here is, protect your peace, verb phrase, to intentionally guard your emotional well-being by limiting exposure to draining people or situations. Third, practice emotional detachment. Here's a truth that will change how you experience envy from others: their jealousy is not about you. It's about their unmet expectations for their own life. You are a mirror in which they see their own dissatisfaction. When you internalize this, something shifts. You stop taking it personally. You can even find compassion, not for the behavior, but for the suffering that drives it. Because living in constant comparison is exhausting. And the envious person is, in many ways, more trapped than anyone they envy. The English word for this mindset is equanimity, noun, equanimity. Mental calmness and composure, especially in difficult situations. It's the opposite of reacting. It's the ability to observe without absorbing. If this video helped you understand the hidden signals people send, and the psychology behind them, subscribe to StoryMind English, because we explore one truth about the human mind every single week in clear, simple English for curious minds everywhere in the world. Let me know in the comments, what's the most surprising sign you learned today? And if you've ever experienced one of these signs personally, I'd love to hear your story. I'll see you in the next one.